So a goal for me, I like challenge, for better or worse. I really like to test myself. So climbing Wutai Shan is a big test.
Entering Shanxi province as he cycles across China, Peter Crosby is riding to the eastern peak of Mount Wutai. It's the highest mountain in northern China. But at 66 years old, he has found the going tough.
It was a really hard ride. I haven't ridden on gravel before. It's a dance because the tires can easily spin, the road is really uneven, the washboard.
The road is hard and steep. But as the saying goes, the harder the battle, the sweeter the victory.
That was hard work. But look. Awesome! It was beautiful. Rose up that mountain. It was very steep, but when you started to see the pagoda, you know, on the hill, that becomes like a beacon, like a target to get to. And so that was inspiring. Whoa, that's heavy. Whoa. like I'm drunk. Whoa. Climbing up the stairs, it felt like I had to climb the stairs just to get to the top. How beautiful. And then there was a fox. You know, the whole fox thing about Wutai, both strange and charmed, like there was some sort of magical thing going on. Its paws, it's kind of, it's like a soft dancer. It's so awesome, right? I mean, look at this, right? Look at what, look at. I mean, from a photographer's point of view, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 planes of light and dark and the mountains and then there's this thing.
Peter has long dreamed of seeing the sunrise from the top of Mount Wutai.
So we're on the side of East Peak at Wutai Shan. Beautiful temple. We're waiting for the sunrise. Waiting for the sunrise, waiting for the sun. We are all together, waiting for the sun. Cold as hell we are now, cold as hell we be. We are all silly people waiting on the side of a mountain.
In the morning, there are heavy clouds and the sunrise is not as perfect as expected. But Peter has regained his strength and gets back on his bike. His next stop is Golden Pavilion Temple, north of Mount Wutai's South Peak. And then the great thing about climbing Wutai Shan is you get to ride down. That's so much fun for me. Finally got going again on the bike on a beautiful road, but it was uphill for the next 10 kilometers. That was when the 4 hours of sleep, the being really cold on the mountainside, the doing the climb the day before just really hit me. Then we found a little fontaine to get something to eat and took a little rest, and then back on the road. 味道好。你好，Zo, Zo, Xixing. Looking at the stairs, I think we may have been able to see it from like across the valley. Let's give it a shot. Yeah, my second stair. It's not going to happen all at once. I wouldn't choose to carry my bike upstairs. So I wonder if the road we were coming on was right. This doesn't look the same at all. There wasn't a dome temple in 1994 at all. Even back then, Wutai was a fairly popular place. I got up at like 4:30 maybe with them and was able to witness their praying and to photograph their worship. And the life was just so simple and self-sufficient here. You know you're in the countryside when they just put the cows in the back of the blue, that's a Liberty truck? This kind of roof is pretty common at a temple. Do you think it's closed? So the pandemic, COVID-19, has really brought out a lot of different societies' priorities. The sense that in the West, free will, individualism is very important. And in Asia, there's been much more willingness to work within the community. Public health is more important. We can sacrifice for a period of time. And so it's been a lot more successful management. How adorable. Here comes our guy. Does he have a QR code on the back of his phone?
Peter is disappointed to find the Gold Pavilion Temple has been closed because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Still on a high from his climb to the peak, however, he has more than enough energy to continue onwards towards Yuanping. It's dark by the time he arrives. He checks into his accommodation in a rural homestay and meets the enthusiastic owner.
进家坐吧。
谢谢。
好，
你多大了？
你告诉我。
我是77属鸡的。
你比我老大，我是66，他是我的哥哥。
啊，对，哥哥。
对。
哥弟弟。
进家先上炕。
上炕
啊
，OK，
对客人的一个尊重。
Sitting on the house's traditional coal-heated brick bed, or kung, Peter chats with his host about the paintings on the wall, a local art form, which have attracted his interest.
I'm a big believer in energy goes where people want it. And so if no one wants to do Kong paintings anymore, or no one wants to build Kongs and have them, beautifully decorated, then that's not going to be something that's done a lot. Maybe 10 years from now, 20 years from now, somebody will pick it up and say, wow, what a wonderful craft, and it'll become popular again.
您今天晚上先住在这里，我早晨过来接上你，去见一见现在也是77岁的一个老人，还在画这个，去他的工作室看一下。
My experience from China started in 1988, China being poor, but very open, people being very warm, very generous. And so I was very attracted to that. I think I kind of fell in love with China. What I try and express back to my friends in America or in the West is China's people are still the same, and there's no difference between what they want. My thinking is that much of this misunderstanding is ignorance. People just don't know. They just don't know many basic things about China. The thing that's more important to me is not to show the difference, but to show how similar we are.
Peter gets up early the next morning to visit the local master of Kung art. He is Mr. Gung Jin Shou, a 77-year-old painter.
龚老师，
哇，希望我你好，我是彼得。
彼得，
你的名字？
我是郭建寿，我是17岁，刚是我父亲学的，我父亲是个盖这块的。
所以是60
年前学的。
龚老师，你要不咱可以把简单交付一下？
鸟，
画个鸟，行，可以。画鸟先画嘴，叶，
再画
叶照手重启。
Gong Lao was a good artistic inspiration. He was mastered his craft. He was so humble and so generous with his time. That's what I appreciated. I mean, he didn't laugh at my fat bird.
这个鸟很胖，它吃的很好，
太胖，
它吃的很好，它的营养好。
我有点胖，所以
对你画的鸟也胖。
我鞋有点胖。
We worked together. I mean, we really worked shoulder to shoulder, and he allowed me to take photographs of him and his work.
这是个白腿鸟，这个白腿鸟配是咱们个牡丹花富贵花，就是让老了白腿了还富贵很。
Okay. Can he help my bird to lose some weight?
Thank God he finished. He did all of the coloring process and gave the fat bird, really was able to slim it down so it looked like it might at least someday fly.
非常漂亮。
Peter， 你在这边也留一个自己的名字，龚老师写一个他的名字。
That experience for me was more about his focus and calmness and kind of an inspiring artistic expression of his work.
OK， 谢谢老师。
漂亮。
你找我，这个是我们的。
我们的。
这个你留作纪念吧。
啊 ，OK。
你留作纪念。
这是象征美好的意思。
象征美好的意思。
美好的意思。
哎，美好的意思。
这边这个有一个传统文化，就是《三国演义》。假如说你要是一直骑这个自行车的话，你可以去下一个地方去听一听，去听一听这个晋剧，唱得非常棒，就专门唱关羽的。
Peter is excited to hear about the touring performance of the Jin opera Guan Yu. He remembers performances he saw in 1994 and sets off in a hurry, hoping to catch the next show. Born in Shanxi, the righteous Han Dynasty General Guan Yu has been revered by generations of Chinese as Guan Gong, or Lord Guan. A popular Jin opera based on his legend is being staged in the ancient county of Taiyuan, starring the famous Jin opera performing artist Wu Lingyun.
关公呀是1800多年了，说这个我们晋剧是300多年了，我们也叫红生戏，也叫关公戏，也叫老爷戏。我觉得演这个关老爷，首先是你的学人要忠于自己的国家，诚信于自己的朋友。
关老爷这个眉毛是大刀眉，就和军人。那么当兵的，在国外呢叫关老爷叫战神。演戏好演，演内涵难演。如果我们可能等会儿一穿服装以后，可能我们说话语就少了，因为啥呢？上身了。
Peter was unable to make contact with the performers he saw in 1994. But the Taiyuan Jin opera show he is seeing instead today is more than enough.
Guan Yu is very famous for his loyalty, and particularly to his older brother. And so that has meaning for me because I have 3 older brothers. I told a story about this before, my older brother who passed away. So that kind of loyalty to me really has meaning. The performance is great, but anybody can see the performance. I always want to know what's going on inside. I want to know what's going on behind the curtain. In 1994, we just heard the music in some very small village in Shaanxi and followed the music. And, you know, it was a very, very local production. It was dusty, like in an old auditorium. I'm very comfortable like in situations like that. I go backstage, I go and meet the people, try and find out what is their life, where are they from. I think that's part of what attracts me is just I like being together with people who love doing what they do.
哎，看一玩
这小，就和舞蹈一样，就和我们这个，它也是锻炼。你这个骑自行车也是锻炼。有兴趣吗？我给你把这个脸画一个。哎，对，你要穿这个服装，对，要照一个相。叮。
Then get a chance to hang out with Master Wu. So he's playing a very serious role, but he's very playful. And so we could play together. And that's what, for me at least, that's part of why this was so enjoyable. Was we just got to play.
我是黑客帝国。
可以称号。I get to ride a bicycle around with a helmet and this face singing Zippity Doo Dah. Okay? Does it get any more silly than that?
今天，你看这个彼得的是皮特的啊，我也是叫不来这个，外国友人这个啊，一个特别善良的一个老人，他喜欢我们的画脸，啊，所以他画上，他说他这个脸不洗了，我要骑车的几天去，包括我教了他几个刀像，特别的高兴。我相信老外呢也会很高兴。我想让他通过这个脸谱，通过今天的照相，通过我的学习，带向国外去。看他，看他，看他。
Look at him.
哎，对
Okay, hold on.
哎对。
But I lost my pose. Performers who love what they do have a feeling, a chi that to me is attractive and interesting, and I think a little contagious. I think it's part of the reason that people still go to live performances.
After appreciating the art of Jin opera, Peter continues on his way. Shanxi is China's coal mining heartland. Peter's home, the US, is second to China in coal production, and the visit here was a favorite of his last trip.
Back in my mind, I went to a nice private school, but I was responsible for covering half the costs. So I went to do this thing called raised drilling, which is making vertical air mine shafts in coal mines, mostly on the surface, sometime on the bottom. It was fascinating to me because it was such a different world. It's a rural working class community in the middle of the Appalachian Mountains in West Virginia. But then in 1994, riding through Shanxi, we saw lots of small coal mines. The work there was brutal. I mean, it was brutal manual work. And then to see these men who were just darkened and blackened with dust. Part of me has this deep respect for how hard people have had to work in China to create the new bam, bam, wah, to create the big change.
To gain access this time, Peter and the film crew applied to a coal mining company 3 months before his trip started. Finally, it was the Sinyuan Mining Company in Shanxi's Jinzhong city that granted him permission to go down one of its mines.
We're about to go down in a deep bituminous coal mine for CUN is the big company here, and they're making sure that we're all safe. We have all our safety gear and protection, so we're going to go down deep, and it's going to take a while to get there. So I'm very excited. Same American company that used to make, this is a safety kit. So if you get stuck underground, there's food, there's a way to communicate, these are made by the same company as 30 years ago, American company. We were given special, very heavy phones that cannot generate an electric spark or current or interact with anything down in the mine. Very specific. It was absolutely fantastic. I mean, it was a fantasy to be able to go down in this coal mine. We had to change all of our clothes. We had to take off all our electronics. We couldn't bring our cameras. We couldn't bring our, even our phones. And then we got into a small vehicle, just sort of a low truck.
请大家系好安全带，行车过程中不要随便打开门。
Just went down into the mines. Long, dark, bumpy roads into the mines. We didn't have any windows open, so we had no idea where we were going or what we were. So there's just, and you're just sort of crammed in there, bouncing along. Some lights here and there, and lots of horns. I mean, this is one of the things about coal mine. Let me finish the getting there. And we started smelling paint, the smell of paint. When we finally got down there, it took about half an hour.
咱们进入这儿就是34111工作站，它是一个自动化、智能化采煤的一个工作面。咱们现在面对的要采的这边就是采的这一块煤，这边要采帮，那边让煤组帮。就采的这是煤，对煤，
很多煤，
煤。现在咱们靠的就是工作面这个小列车。 它就是给咱们工作面这个设备、采煤机、转载机等设备供电的，还有控制，都是这一列车子上面搞定的。
It's kind of hard to compare my experience in 1975 with the coal mines in China in 2021. It's a big difference. But then we got out, and it was in a clean, well-lighted place.
它这是一个基于5G 技术一个无人值守的一个配电室。这个配电室是无人值守的。以前不是咱们都是说有人工记录、有人工熊检啊，每个配电点、每个配电室都必须有专人。现在咱们看到就是这个5G 芯片机器人的这个主机。刚才现在用起的那个就是熊检机器人，通过熊检机器人回到主机，主机再通过咱们这个5G 技术直接回到这个地面的调度中心来实现这个数据的传输。有了这个熊检机器人以后，尽管每天一个人每天能少走将近7、8公里或者10公里左右。
That was cool. And what they had was a little robot on the wall that monitored the heat of the big transformers. What I was interested in is technological use of 5G or some of the technological advancements. It was like, so my question was, so what? What was the benefit of being, how did it make their work better? There's a particular scientific word for being able to send beams of radio signals. And so the answer that I got, as far as I understood it, is it's safer. It's also less costly for them because they can let the automated machinery do it. They have different ways of being able to monitor what's actually going on in real time from remote. So the chance that somebody would be very injured or the chance that there'd be an explosion or something is reduced. So that was cool. And they were quite proud of.
Hello， 你好。1、2、3，茄子。OK。
Long before dawn, Peter is up and riding to the archaeological site of Taosi Observatory. He is hoping to enjoy a perfect sunrise there, to make up for the one he missed on Mount Wutai.
So I'm here to wait for the sunrise here at the Taosi Observatory. It's claimed to be the oldest observatory in the world, and it's a beautiful, unbelievably clear morning. And I'm just waiting for the sun to be able to see how the time was told.
In 1999, archaeologists discovered the world's oldest known observatory here. It features 13 pillars spread out in a semicircle. The narrow gaps between them form a system for measuring the movement of the sun.
How beautiful to be out here.
Standing at the central point from which the measurements are taken, Peter at last gets what he came for. After seeing the perfect sunrise at the Taosi site, he continues with satisfaction on his crossing of Shanxi.
Planting trees, planting solar panels, same thing, right?
Solar panels come into view as Peter continues. After a while, he is surrounded by them.
Photovoltaic is a very important resource for transforming the sun's power into electricity. And so it's being used more and more and more over the world. China has been the major manufacturer of photovoltaic screens or bang for 15 years. And so I wanted to see this in place. 你好。
你好，
你好，你好。
这是你的工作？
是，正在检修电器。
你们的工作多少年在这儿？4年。
原来上边都是荒山荒坡那上边，现在然后铺的光伏板。
Just move once each day, or does it move slowly?
电脑设定后自动来校准的，校准然后根据太阳的方位慢慢移动。
So we were told there are 2,000 panels there, and they wanted to, even though it's very, very impressive, they hope to add another 600 over the course, I think, of the next 2 years. So how many kilowatts does this generate?
一块板的话就是
1度电。
这个板是在美国、日本、韩国、
对，
欧洲都有的。美国应该光伏挺多的吧？
There's more wind power in the United States than solar.
风力发电主要它影响环境的因素，是因为它那个你看着它旋转的很慢，但实际它旋转的特别快。在那一片区域带动的这个气候，它就影响到气候，进一步影响到鸟类，再影响到种植，然后就进而影响环境。
它不是污染环境，它是影响环境的。
对，影响环境。
咱们这边就是结合的，就是光伏结合这个农光互补，就是在底下进行这个经济作物的种植，还是到时候有经济效益，还有那个生态效益。
The West in general has also used more carbon dioxide than China. The opportunity in China to take that manufacturing skill and scale is to do that, take that manufacturing prowess and be able to help reduce its own pollution. That's a big goal.
Shanxi's history stretches back to before the Warring States period more than 2,000 years ago. During the 20th century, its coal powered China's industrialization. These days, it is embracing clean energy. Although, of course, its long history and rich culture continue to move forward.